Most people think the hardest part of running a marathon is mile 26, but runners will tell you about the pain cave. That plays deep into a race where everything hurts. Your legs are screaming, your brain is begging you to stop. For marathoners, that might show up around mile 20, the wall, as they call it. For ultra marathoners, I don't know, maybe mile 35. I'm not planning to do one of those anytime soon, so we'll find out later. But I've learned something over the past couple months as I started training for my first marathon. Most people, the real pain cave, it's on mile 1. You see, about 2.5 months ago, I started training for a marathon. My goal race is November 1st, 2026. When I tell people that, the reactions are usually one of two things: admiration or confusion. Because running a marathon sounds a little crazy. And honestly, I still think it's a little crazy. But something happened recently that made me realize exactly why I'm doing it. One morning this week, I ran outside 6 miles before the day even started. It was the first time I'd done a longer run outdoors this year. The weather has finally started to warm up, and after months of running inside on a treadmill, I wanted to get used to the real thing. I finished the run, I looked down at my watch, and I thought something I never thought I'd say. I didn't hate it. So I took a screenshot of my run and texted it to my dad. We trade workouts pretty often. And I wrote the following: I need someone to go back about 10 years and show this to younger me. 6 miles before breakfast, and I didn't hate it. My dad wrote back something simple but kind of profound. He said, "Of course, now you'll think 10 years from now that you're glad you found it today." And that hit me. Because half the reason I'm running this marathon is this exact thought process. I could try it now and check it off the list, or I could spend the next 10 years wondering why I never tried. I chose the former. Later that same morning, I was talking about running with my best friend over breakfast. She was just getting back into running, and we were talking about why it's so hard in the beginning. And I think I finally figured something out that morning. Experienced runners forget what the beginning feels like. When you're new to running, you live in 1 to 2 mile runs for a long time. That's where everything hurts. Your lungs feel like they're on fire, your legs feel heavy, and you're questioning every life choice that led you to this moment. Meanwhile, the internet is full of advice for people running 10 miles before work like it's nothing. Training plans, apps, tips. And if you're brand new, it all makes you feel like you're terrible at running. But the truth is, beginners aren't really that bad at running. They're just stuck in mile 1. And mile 1, to me, is always the hardest mile there is. Your body hasn't warmed up, your breathing hasn't settled, your brain is trying to convince you to stop, and you haven't yet experienced the moment when your body says, "Oh, I know how to do this." Because that moment doesn't exist when you're only doing 1 to 2 miles. However, during a 6-mile run, it usually happens around, say, mile 3. At that point on my run, I wasn't checking my pace anymore. I wasn't pushing, I wasn't struggling. I just realized I felt good. My heart rate was steady, my breathing was steady, my legs were moving, and the runner's high started to kick in a little bit. My body basically said, relax, we got this. And for the next few miles, I really wasn't even thinking about running. That's the part beginners never get to in their initial start of running. If you stay consistent long enough, eventually you reach the mile where running stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like momentum. There's another lesson running has begun to teach me. Running is physical, absolutely. But every runner I've talked to about long distances says the same thing. The hardest part? It's not your legs. It's your mind. Your body will adapt. Your lungs get stronger. Your muscles learn the rhythm. But your brain is constantly negotiating. Maybe we should stop. Maybe today isn't the day. Maybe this is far enough. Training for a marathon is really more so about training your brain to answer that voice with something simple. Not yet. Back in December, when this marathon crazy idea first came up, I remember standing in the parking lot outside the gym. I had my phone in my hand, about to text someone who could help me build a training plan. And I paused. Because I knew that if I sent that text, something would change. I'd become one of those people. You know, the ones who wake up early to run long distances for fun. The people who voluntarily sign up for a 26.2-mile race. And I had this moment where I thought, I could just not do this. I could skip it, move on, keep life comfortable. But then another thought popped in. I could also spend the rest of my life wondering what it would have been like. And I realized something. We only get one shot at this life. One. So why not do the things that sound a little crazy? Run the marathon, jump out of the airplane, start the thing, fail at the thing, try again. Because in 10 years from now, the person you become will look back at the decisions you made today. And hopefully, they'll say, hey, thank you for starting. Even if the hardest part was just getting through mile 1.